There's an article that I read in one of these social platforms that was talking about the CEO of Cooperative Bank and the earnings that he got in 2025, which was going which was around 475 million. And this was including the basic salary and the bonuses. And the argument on this social media platform was that the whole of this amount cannot be given to one person. That this was too much, it can be used to develop other things. Maybe they can use it to give loans to SMEs, to give loans to SMEs, to develop SMEs so that the economy can grow. But I took a different point of view, and this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. So I'm going to talk about 3 points that I got, or 3 lessons that I got from this article. So let's break down let's break down the value that he added to Cooperative Bank that made him earn this 475 million package in 2025. In that year, the financial performance was 25.5 billion. That was an increase of 2.3 billion from the previous year. So let's look at this amount of 475 million, which is just 2% of the financial performance of the bank in the year 2025. This is just 2% of that income for the year. And then out of this, he created 8 new branches, which included 5 in Sudan. And he created 999 job opportunities. So with the creation of these branches, that means there's an increase in clients, and that means the loan that was reimbursed to the clients must have been higher. So when we relate his income to the value that he brought to the bank, it is worth it. And I look at it as it was worth it because he could have decided to do otherwise. He could have decided to steal from the company if he was to think about himself, which happens to most of the SMEs, where I've heard stories where people have actually stolen from these companies and brought down these companies. And that means he's the one who could have gained. Other people could have lost. Other people could have lost jobs, and maybe there could be no loans to be reimbursed. There could be no new branches because he decided to steal. But he decided to do the right thing and add value to the company. As much as he's gaining, and the society is also gaining because more people are being employed and more loans are being given to their clients at the same time. So if all employees can think or can reason the way he reasons in terms of what value do I add to this organization when I come in, because people complain about having experience they don't deserve to be paid what they are being paid, or having the right skills or having the right experience. But when they're joining this company, do they put this across? Do they put it across to the interviewers that this is the value that I bring to this company in relation to what I want to earn? Because I believe when he joined the company, there was already clarity on his goals, and that is where his income was determined, and his bonuses. So if he was able to achieve these goals, what is wrong with him earning this 475 million? So that was lesson 1. The second lesson that I learned from this article is that even employment can make you wealthy. There's a myth that goes round that says that only a business can make you wealthy. I think this is a lie. even employment can make you wealthy. You can see from this article that the CEO made for 75 million in earnings just for the year 2025. How many people who are in business in our country, in Kenya, or in our economy, or even Africa, who are earning that 475 million per annum? Very few. So you can get from this that even with employment, you can still get wealthy. So that myth for me is a lie. And then lesson 3. This one is very crucial for me, and I believe that it always works. And many of us who look for employment don't look at it that way. But in my experience and the hurdles that I've gone through, I've had experience where an employee comes to me and talks about a salary increase, not because they've added value, not because they've done anything different, but because the economy is bad, because the inflation has gone up, because fuel has gone up, because the landlord has increased rent. Not considering that whatever, when the economy is bad, it's bad for everybody, including the employer. So if only they can look at it from the value point of view, that the more value they add to this company, the more they'll earn, then things would be different. So the more value you add to this company that you're employed in, the more value you'll add to the society. Because when you add more value to the company, that means the company will grow and the company will employ more people. And when the company employs more people, the more it will grow and it will also bring more people. So when there are more people, and at the same time, your value will also grow. You'll be able to get more earnings from the value that you're adding to this company. But most, if not all, I think majority of people think that when they are coming into this company, as long as they have skills and they have experience and they're working, without defining the value that I have. And I can talk about this, it's for both employer and employee, because even us as employers, we do not give clarity on the goals that we want the employees to achieve. So there is a breakdown in communication, and this brings all these hurdles that take place in a company. At the end of the day, you find the company loses because it cannot define the value that the employees are adding, and yet they are still being paid. So if both sides, both the employer and the employee, look at it from the value aspect, and then the goals are clarified, they give clarity to these goals that are supposed to be achieved for the company to grow, then you as an individual, your value will increase and you'll earn more at the same time as the company is earning more. And that is why you find, because of our short-term thinking, you find somebody gets into this business and decides to siphon money from this business, leading to the company closing down. And this leads to people losing employment. So regardless of it being what is in it for me, adding value to the company with the thought of what is in it for me means the company will grow and will also earn, rather than the other way around, where you are the only one gaining. You are the one who is benefiting at the loss of other people. That is the company and the other employees. So if we look at these 3 lessons and think deeply about and think as an employer and as an employee about what value can we bring in both the organization and to the society, then I think with the change of perception, things would be different.